Hi all, and welcome to the Melton City Council Learning Directory. I'm Kevin from Perennial Garden Care, and today we're going to be talking about pests in your garden. So we can see here we've got a veggie patch in front of us, and we've got all sorts of little critters that have been in here eating away. So what are we going to do about them? Now, you know, sometimes you have the odd critter here and there. Let them be. It's not the end of the world. You know, we don't want to start putting a whole heap of pesticide and stuff into our gardens just to have the perfect cabbage or the perfect cauliflower or the perfect apple. You know, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of imperfection, and it's probably going to taste a lot better anyway. So I guess one of the ways, the natural ways that we can look at controlling pests in our garden is companion planting. So if you look at things like a plant like garlic, for example, that emits an odour that deters aphids and mites and all sorts of little things there that was going to help you with the garden. You won't have to do anything, and you'll get some garlic at the end of it as well too. So some companion planting. Marigolds are great next to cucumbers. They're fantastic, and so there's a whole different range of companion plants that we can put in our garden next to others. A basil next to tomato, that's another great one as well that helps control the hornworm. So that's one way that we can control pests naturally. Another way is just a physical barrier. You know, even if we get some cardboard and you place it around the seedling, so if you make it into a round shape and place it physically around there, it'll help deter snails and slugs getting in there, and some worms as well, some beetles. So we can do that. We can use physically, use cardboard. You can use soft drink bottles. You know, if you cut off the bottom, and you could actually cut both ends in the middle and put that over. That's a great barrier as well. So you can use that. And it's just a way that we can help control pests in the garden without actually putting pesticides and stuff in there. Another natural way is encouraging insects that help control, that feed off these aphids and things like that. So you look at ladybirds. If you see a ladybird in the garden, you know what? Pick it up, put it in your veggie patch. It's going to have an absolute feast on those aphids that are growing on your new roses, or on the end of any new growth that you can have on your lily pillies, on some of your tomatoes, bits and pieces like that. They will love it. They will love it. So rather than looking for food, you're going to help it, and it'll help you out, and it'll help the ladybirds out as well. So encourage these type of pests. Well, they're not actually pests, these insects, beneficial insects, to eat these pests. Another great thing is what we're going to talk about today, is what we call a snail trap. And I'm going to show you what we do in a moment, but one thing that we always remember when it comes to pests in the garden is that we've got our hands. We can just look and see. Usually the pests are big enough so that you can see them and you can take them off. You need to be a little bit, well, I guess, patient, because they're usually camouflaged. So if you at first glance, you may not see any pests at all. But if you look around leaves, under these certain leaves and around, you might find little caterpillars, you might find little slugs, you might find all sorts of little critters. So can't find any now. Oh, here we've got some aphids in here. It's a little bit hard for you guys to see. Squashed them, but they're little squashed, they're little aphids that were in there feasting away, enjoying themselves right in the heart of the plant there. So you can look, you can always pick off snails and slugs and caterpillars, those type of things, if you physically remove them and get rid of them, whichever way you like. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you quite an ingenious way of getting rid of snails and slugs, where you don't have to do anything at all except sit back and watch. And you know what? You could even have a beer while you're doing it as well. Okay, so before we start putting together our snail and slug trap, we need a few tools and some materials. So we need our trowel, we need a little hand mattock, a plastic container. You can even use a plastic cup if you'd like, or a little bowl, some paper towel, some oil, doesn't matter what oil it is, and our beer. Okay, so we've got our materials here. So what we're going to do is that we know here that we've got some snails and slugs eating away. So we're going to give them something to look forward to. So we're going to dig ourselves a little hole, and this hole is going to be what we put our tray into. So a little hand-matic helps us there. Put it aside. We'll just take out some of that soil. There you go. Should be deep enough, and we'll just check this to see. Ah, yeah, that's great. That's perfect. So you want it to be at the same level as the soil, almost like planting, isn't it? So we want it to be there so that the snails can make their way through to it. So next we want to grab our oil and our paper towel and just put a bit of oil on there. And we want to line the inside edge of our container with this oil. Now what this oil is going to do is going to make a slippery surface for the snails and all slugs, so they will be unable to climb out when they fall in. Okay, so there we've got ourselves a nice little oil covered edges. We'll now put that into our garden, and slowly we will place the soil back around. Now there's no point in having this in there if there's no soil for them to be able to go over to get back in there. So we'll put our soil back around there, trying not to get too much dirt in or straw. And they are going to love it. Look at that, a little surprise for them. Now, they can enjoy that. Keep that away. That is great. All right, so that's at a good level. So you can see that there. Now, our secret recipe is beer. Now, why beer? They like, snails and slugs like the fermenting of the yeast. They're attracted to it. So if you don't have beer, you can use Vegemite with a bit of water. You can put that in there as well. Or you can just use plain old yeast. You can put yeast in there, the yeast powder. I put some warm water in there and activate it. And that'll be great as well too. So let's see, the snails like it. So you can put that in there. Doesn't have to be all the way, halfway, like that. And if you leave that there, you leave that till tomorrow, you'll see what difference it makes with the snails and slugs. I'm guarantee overnight, you'll see some snails and slugs make their way into there, and they'll slip down the edges, they'll get into the beer, and they won't be able to get out again. So it's a nice natural way, and it's not a bad way for the snails to go either, especially with some Carlton draft. Maybe Crownie might be a bit better for some of those upmarket snails and slugs. Dare say a Corona for this time. So possibly. So what we'll do, we're going to leave that there like that, and we'll come back and we'll see what type of results we have. So we've been away for a couple of hours and we'll come back, and lo and behold, if you come a bit closer, come and have a look at this. Look what we've got in here. We've got ourselves a drunken slug. I'm sure we've all been like that at one point in our lives, haven't we? There you go. so they can enjoy the beer. And you can see it works. That's only after a couple of hours, so you'll find that overnight they'll get right in there and they'll love it, and it's nice and easy, and it's quite ingenious the way it works. You know, try beer, try some Vegemite as well. That could be really, really good. I haven't done it myself, but that could be really good. So apart from all these natural ways that we can do to control all these pests and diseases, we do have pesticides that we can use, and there's some safer stuff where we've got pyrethrum and things like that that are actually, they're natural, but they're still toxic to the pests. So there's plenty of them around in the market that you can use, but by all means, just try a natural way first. You'll get a lot of fun out of it, and who knows, it'll be great to for the kids to see this and a little bit of an experiment with some beer and a plastic container, a bit of oil, and look at the results you get. So that's it for today. I hope that you've enjoyed our show and you've learnt a little bit from what we've done, and we'll see you next time with something new and interesting to learn. All the best. Bye.